Yeah, that's the hardest question for me. It's so much easier to talk about the cooking. And I used to always cook after work to de-stress. And I would organize like dinner parties and invite friends over for lunch, and that would be like my favorite thing to do. And then later I discovered that I work just to have enough money to cook at home. So I decided to leave my job and I enrolled in culinary arts school, and then I got a job as a chef after that. I usually find a flavor combination that's very interesting to me. For example, I like to read cooking books for fun. That's very fun for me. So sometimes I find the flavor combination, like the sauce we are doing today. I read about green peas and tarragon going together nicely. I was like, yeah, that must be an amazing sauce. I have to cook that. And then I just developed the recipe around the flavors that I find really fascinating. My main goal when I started my Instagram channel was to veganize traditional Slovenian dishes, because I really like Slovenian cuisine, but it's heavily based on meat and cheese and eggs, and also white flour. Yeah, it's developing nicely. We have some new restaurants that are really interesting. A new restaurant just opened that's 100% vegan, and it's serving traditional Slovenian dishes, which is also very interesting, because I think people in Ljubljana aren't necessarily aware or proud about traditional Slovenian cuisine. Yeah, so what you should do with half the onion, I have the opportunity to teach you something.
Nice.
I really like teaching people about cutting techniques. Yeah, so we can start like that. That's not like the correct way to cut it, but I had to put it in half, so then you do like, you tuck your fingers in
Okay.
and cut it. From Amsterdam.
Oh.
But it's a nice looking one because it's black. So we're just gonna leave that.
Okay.
We're gonna prepare the tarragon. So you hold the stem if you wanna prepare the tarragon,
Okay.
and you just knot like that in the opposite direction. And usually the leaves fall off the stem, but this one's not so fresh anymore. It's been picked a day ago. Yeah, like that.
Okay.
It's a little bit better. I love cooking because it's like really peaceful.
Yay.
It's like a me time. Very easy. My family didn't mind because it's mostly vegetarian, so it wasn't like a huge news to them. But I think it really depends. It's really embraced nicely in Ljubljana, but I think outside Ljubljana, it's still, people are still perceived as grass eaters, and vegan food is still perceived as very boring, although that's not true. It's just a stereotype. So yeah, really depends. I think it has. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. So you're like, oh, she's the fancy, the cool friend, the one we look up to if you're vegan. And if you're vegan here, it's like, yeah, we cannot go anywhere because you're vegan. So that's like the the perception difference. And also the difference is that in Amsterdam, vegan, like fancy dinners are normal. So even if you're not vegan, you would go to a vegan restaurant to get a 3, 4, 5 course meal, and that's available to you, and that is I think it's impossible to get here. So. Yeah, the standard is definitely different. Although chefs are not are actually a quite badly paid profession in Netherlands. So an hourly rate is actually quite low when you start out, but still the difference between rent and monthly pay is much bigger than in Ljubljana, even though the monthly pay is perceived as bad for Netherlands. You still have enough to save up, to go out, to buy some stuff for yourself, when in Ljubljana the rents are so high right now that you have to be extremely well paid to be able to live here. So yeah, I thought about that one a lot. I really cannot decide, but my favorite meal before I went vegan was shrimp and asparagus risotto. So I think my favorite dish is still a risotto, although it would be hard to decide which one is it now. Much better, yeah.
It was really, really good. Like unexpected, but really good. Not unexpected. Well, really good.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Not everything. I only knew the basics, like potatoes for the gnocchis and green pea and paper.
No, not really, because I am bad. But it was a lot of flavor, and yeah, I couldn't really get. But after, when Anya told me, then it was like, yes, it's this herb.
Yeah, I think so. I just have to practice, but I think I could be vegan.
If Anya cooked for me, then yes, because it's really good. But I mean, yes, I guess if it's this kind of food, then totally. But I should then learn how to make this kind of meal.
Not enough, but I guess it depends of the people. But especially in the families during big dinners, sometimes it's a bit hard because I want you to eat cheese or meat, especially in France.
I don't think it's that famous. I mean, it's getting more and more known, but it's hard to find some people who are vegan, I think. Because, yeah, I think what I got from the mentality of people I was talking with is like, oh, but if you're vegan, you eat nothing and you will be super sick, you will have a lot of like low energy or stuff like this. But actually, it's not really true if you take care, as we ate previously with Anya, for example. Like, it's really like a full meal with a lot of things, and you can get a lot of protein inside.
Yes, I think so, because you just have to pick the thing you want to eat, like, I don't know, vegetables and flavors and pasta, rice. I think it's easy. It's not, yeah, and it's less expensive because all the products from animals are really expensive.
No, definitely not. Maybe in Ljubljana it's okay, but the town around, no. Even in restaurants, it's really hard to find vegan options. It will be nicer if it will be more options, vegan options.
Nice.